Hello, welcome to Cypress Automation. This is Sherful. This lecture we're going to see how to use alias in Cypress. Alias is very important Cypress command because Cypress have some limitation in terms of using variable. So in that case, alias can help you to work as a variable. So let's see some example. So in Cypress, before we see some real case regarding our use case of alias, we're going to see some example about using our traditional variable encoding. So here you can see, here is one example. If you unlike Selenium, you can you cannot use variable. Like if you look at any example, you look at any button like cy.get, so it will look at that element, and then we're saying you put one variable, you give a variable named button, and its a type is variable, constant or let, whatever you say, or variable var. And then if you if you use this button or variable, and then you apply a click function on this variable, it should work. But in Cypress it doesn't work this way. It will work in Selenium or other automation the framework or technology, but in Cypress it doesn't work. You can see over here in Cypress, in their official website, they're saying you cannot assign or work with the return values of any Cypress command. It means if you use any Cypress command, here is a Cypress command, cy.get is a Cypress command. If you use any Cypress command and it's return, it's a return any values, you are not allowed to put that value in a constant or variable, and you can't use this one next apply another Cypress command. So that's not gonna work. So if you want to use do the similar type of job, how you can do it? In that time, to resolve this kind of problem, alias comes to the picture. So let's see alias. It's you can find it over here in their official website. So alias is used here. So alias, you can see alias and alias for later use. It's rare. It means it's used to use on later on. Reference the alias later, and it used with the cy.get command, with cy.wait command, and also you have to use command with a prefix at the @ sign, and for the alias, the command for Cypress, it's used .as, that's the method. Which means you are going to use alias. Let's see some example. I think it's gonna be much more easier. The concept is very easier, but all you have just understand it. So here I create a spec file. I give it name alias.js, and this is the website we're going to run. So it's very simple. Our similar practice website where we're going to visit codeinboxautomationlab.com/ it's the login page. So here what we're going to do, we're going to enter, there will be one test case to log in, invalid username here, and on a user name field, and also we'll enter one invalid password, right? So before we enter the username or password, we have to look at this this element, right? So let's see, how can I look at it? So this is the HTML code, so we can use ID. You can see this ID. So if there is an ID, I use, you can see there's a one element match, so it means this is a very unique, so we can use ID. Let's see. So we're going to create another it block, first it will launch the site and then wait 3 seconds, and then the second it block would be enter the invalid username, and there will be another it block, enter the invalid password, and that those it block we're going to use alias. So we'll say I'm going to give a description. Should fill invalid username. Okay, and then it's function. The second parameter is the function, and then close bracket. Okay, this is the body, so we'll say cy.get, and then I'm going to put the locator for this username box. So it was ID, so this is the value of the ID, and then I can use as alias. You can see that I'm giving a very simple name, say username, and then so now what it does, it means and also in some case probably you will have some element, example some element, it's a big element. I mean your properties you are going to use is very long, and the same element you need to use down to the more on your scripting, the same element. So that time it's easy to, if you put this whole locator in a variable and just you call that variable, like earlier we saw example about putting a Cypress command in a variable and use the variable, but Cypress doesn't allow you to use any constant or variable or let, right? So that time we can use alias. So what it does is a whole thing, this locator will be assigned to this variable. You can consider as a variable. So username as alias, so this username now is holding the return of this Cypress command, the whole locator. And next time instead of, if you want to use the same locator any other code, you can just call this variable, right, this username over here from this alias. So it's gonna be very short. So it's a similar use case, but not to direct use variable. So here, so I give a alias name is username, and next I'm going to say cy. So I'm going to use the same, I need to call the same element. So in that case, instead of calling the same element, I'm going to just use @ and then use the alias name user. So cy.get, so this alias, it means you are talking about this element, the same element. So in this example it looks very simple, we can use the same one over here, but think about if your locator it's like huge, it's over here just 2 letters, but maybe it's 3, 4, 5 letters, right? It's a long class name or ID. So that time instead of you use the whole one, just put in an alias and just use the alias. So first we're going to, before we enter anything in this over here, I want to clear this box. So that's what I'm doing. So this is it's locate the box and then use the alias, and I'm using the alias again. It means same locator, and I will use the clear method to clear the the box first, and then again cy.get, I'm going to use call the same alias variable. So I have to use @ and then username, the same name, and now same username, you make sure that it's the same word, exactly looks same, and then I'm going to use the type command, and then give a we're going to put some invalid username. So let's say no name, yes, no name, and then you can put some delay too. Here we can put some delay over here so that it's wait sometimes, because when you type something in a box, it takes, sometimes it may take a few seconds to display. So it's better you can put some delay or not, it's up to you, right? So that's the first one, right? So similar way, I'm going to use the password should fill invalid password, and here let's spy the password box, and there is a type password. Okay, there is an ID. Let's use that ID again for the password right here. So the value of cy.get, I'm going to look at the password field first and give a alias name is like password. So we're going to use the same over here. Clear first the field before you enter, and then type the invalid password. And then type, say, I'm going to put 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, I mean, just some invalid password. Okay, save it. So you see the use case. So we're using the same locator, like 3 lines right over here. So instead of using the same CSS selector, I just put in its alias works as a variable. I put in an alias and then call the alias name with a prefix @ sign. So anywhere in your script, you use the same locator, you just call this alias name. So it will be easier. Just assume that this is a long CSS selector. That time it's very helpful. And also in multiple places when you need to use the same locator, just put in alias and then it's like works as a variable. Okay, save it. Let's clear, and then we're going to run our test runner. So we'll say npm, then npm run cy open. Okay, we're going to just only run alias one. Okay, it's launched the site where you can see it's waiting. Here we go. Okay, so our first one, it launched the site and then wait 3 seconds. And second one, for the invalid username, you can see it's find the box, and then it's cleared the box, and then it's enter the same field. You type some no name. You can see the right side the output, right? And also the similar way the password works, right? You can see it. It's you get the same element by using alias. So because we use, this is the actual element, right? The CSS selector for the element, the password, but we put in an alias. You can see over here the script also, the alias is a password. So every down to the other code, the line you just add the red password, it means it's called the same element. It finds the same element, and then we enter the one of the dummy password. So and so it didn't, right? So that's the way, it's the easiest way to understand the use case of alias. Alias is very helpful in Cypress because we have very limitation in terms of use variable or in a constant or lead, and instead of using those variable, we can use alias in Cypress. That's all for today. Thank you so much, and hopefully you enjoy the video. Watch the next one. Bye bye.